É o David MM, tá ligado?
What's up, yo? It's Bill Hamid, man. I'm shouting out Futbol Familia, man.
Make sure you follow Futbol Familia!
My name's CJ Taylor, head coach Virginia Dream FC, playing in UPSL and MPSL.
So how does it feel to have the title of being a head coach of such a popular and successful team like Virginia Dream?
You know, honestly, it's an honor. I've known Lucas and Roger and those guys since we were 9-10 years old, and they put together a really good project. And for them to have the trust in me to come along and coach a men's team is something that is not easy to do, to manage the group and to be in an environment where we're trying to build something. But I take a lot of pride in it. It's something that I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to do. Hopefully we can continue the success that they had before me and build on and be MPSO champions, UPSO champions, and see where we can take this thing.
So where'd you grow up?
Here. I went to high school here, grew up originally on the highway over by Fort Belvoir. Born and raised here in Alexandria, Springfield, whatever you want to mash it all up into one.
And what would you say are your values of your team?
I think right now we're always talking about how you commit yourself to the group. So there's a lot of different livelihoods going on at Dream with some people are working, some people are not working, some people are 30, some people are 19, some people have kids, some people don't, some people drive, some people don't. But your own livelihood, how do you best commit yourself to our group? That's number one. So overall commitment looks different for everyone. Sometimes commitment is not always 100% attendance. Sometimes it's just how responsive you are, how communicative you are. So commitment, I think, honesty, but commitment, honesty, obviously respect are huge. When you're sort of going against that, you don't really want to commit our time and energy to you as an individual if you can't at least meet us halfway. Obviously, a conversation with a 20-something-year-old or a 30-something-year-old is much different than a 13 or 14-year-old. You got to sort of beat around the bush. You don't want to hurt the kid's confidence. Now coming into this environment, confidence, obviously, you want to give your players as much confidence as you can. At the same time, it's like, I'm not really here to put my arm around you and be like, come on, buddy. To answer the question, the values of our group at Dream, commitment, honesty, and respect are three huge ones. If we can get 25, 30 guys buy into that, we have enough talent to go into any game, be able to compete and come with 3 points. That's what we're really striving for at Dream.
What does CJ bring tactically and then morality?
I think tactically, I'm a coach that wants to be on the front foot. Obviously, you have to have the right personnel on game day to be able to purely play the way that you want to play as a coach. But if we do have the setup that we want and the guys that we want for that matchup, we're going to be on the front foot, high pressing, high energy, keeping the ball, playing between the thirds on the ground, and trying to break teams' press all over the pitch. Just keep the pressure on them as much as we can. We give the ball away, how quick can we get it back? Obviously, there are games where we don't have the right personnel that day or sort of have to tweak it a little bit, and you might have to come up with a different game plan for that specific game. You might have to sit in and counter, or you might have to high press, but when you have it, you might have to play a little bit more direct. Essentially, we want to be the team that is keeping possession, playing through the thirds, getting after teams really in their face, high pressing them, don't give them no time on the ball, punish them whenever we can. Morale side, I'm up on the sideline, very energetic, very loud, very direct. Characteristic of mine, just being outgoing. Use my voice to inject energy into my group. We're gonna be on the front foot, be the loud guys, let guys know they can't play against us. But at the same time, when it comes back against us and teams score on us and punish us for our mistakes and beat us, we gotta be able to take it as well. We don't want to be that team that is just out here with your chest out a little bit, and then when you lose or things don't go your way, or you want to point fingers and blame and hide and show that side. At Dream, a lot of people know the club by now, and even before I got there, how energetic the group is on the field, on the bench, how loud they are, sort of we don't yell that much, but I think that's part of our DNA. We're never going to be the group that is liked. It's a lot of young guys running a team, a lot of personalities in the group, a lot of guys who have played at a high level, who have played pro, who have played college at all levels, can back it up on the field and get to express themselves, and as a club we're going to do the same.
How was your time at ASA?
My time at ASA was honestly great. They gave me a really good opportunity, allowed me to move into a coaching position that not a lot of coaches would get so soon. I thought ASA was the proper choice at the time, and they gave me opportunity to coach in junior academy. I was able to coach 2 older teams, blue teams, and then my second year I was able to coach a red team, and then this past year I was able to coach 2 MLS teams. And so that is not something that is traditional really for a young coach to be able to coach the top team in a club and coach in the highest platform in the country within 2 years. Those guys treated me really well, allowed me to grow, and showed a lot of confidence in me as a young coach to sink or swim, really. They threw me into the fire and said, we believe in you that you can take over this team, take over these teams, do this role, be a college placement director and connect with the kids and educate them on the process and what needs to be done and how to do emails and how to do highlight tapes and all the roles that they allow me to do. Great experience. The time there was great. Those guys have an amazing thing going on now. Those guys have built up their club from NCSL to the highest platform in the country, and in my opinion, competing with DC United to be the top dog in the area. They have a great group there. It was great. They treated me very well, gave me a lot of opportunity to grow. I definitely wouldn't be tactically as smart or be able to manage a group as well or have different conversations with players and parents and grown folks without the opportunity that they gave me. So all knowledge that I learned from ASA is coming over to Dream, and will continue wherever I end up over the next 2, 3, 4 years.
What are some differences, similarities from jumping from MLS youth team to straight to a proper men's team?
Even though I was coaching under 14s and 15s, I still think the standard of the top teams, playing in the top platform in the country, MLS Next, the standard is very, very high. We're competing against the best academies in the country, DC United, New York Red Bulls, Philly Union. Going off to these showcases or playoffs, we had 07s at ASA who were playing against St. Louis. I'm a little bit more direct with obviously a men's team than I was, with under 14s and 15s. But even though helping, with under 19s or under 17s, at ASA is you can really be on those guys. Obviously you can't say whatever you want and curse all the time and, be that direct as you can with a men's environment where you can turn it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was already turned up, coaching in the youth side at the highest level in the country. It was already turned up and demanded a lot from the guys. And tactically is sort of the same things I was teaching over with my youth teams, MLS Next is sort of the same. It's not like I'm coaching a men's team now and I have to come up with 40 new drills and activities to run in a session. I can take the same things and make it more complex or add different rules to it or make it bigger, make it smaller, whatever. But the overall philosophy is the same. That has been an easier jump, I would say, than I think most people would think. But at the same time, there's a lot of players at the men's team who are coming from different backgrounds. They've all been through 4 or 5 different coaches. They've all had different instructions. And now I'm sometimes I look at guys and I'm like, where the fuck did you learn that? Why are you doing that? But then I'm all right, cool. You played in college, you had this style. You played at pro, you had this style. Maybe you played in the back 3, you didn't high press, you didn't do this, you didn't have this sort of philosophy or instruction. It might be new to you. Even though you're 26 years old, that's the cool thing about soccer. You can have 10 different coaches and play 10 different ways. That's been a little bit eye-opening, that having to piece together so many different backgrounds, and or at least I was coming in thinking, hey, these guys, it'll be easier I want to play this way. It shouldn't take them that long to adjust to it. They watch enough soccer, they've played enough soccer, but some guys are like, what? That's been something that's definitely being honed in on now that I dreamed for 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
So of course, we know that one of the biggest players there is Bill Hamid.
Yes, sir.
As a coach.
What's up, yo? It's Bill Hamid.
How does that dynamic work to coach him?
We have a lot of former professional guys. Obviously, Bill played at the highest level, played for the national team, played for our country, played in MLS for many, many years. Honestly, that's why he's professional. He's accepting to the environment. He understands how a men's environment is supposed to run. Obviously, he's a huge personality in the team. He holds everyone accountable. He is, on our staff as a goalkeeper coach. He has been given a lot of freedom to step in and give his opinion and give feedback to the staff, to players in game, in sessions, in the locker room. It's been very easy, for me as a coach because of him. He's sort of came in and was like, this is the head coach, but I would like XYZ, and he has earned that, not just because of his resume, but because how he holds himself within our locker room and on the field and connecting with players and connecting with fans. I think there was a really cool moment on Wednesday this past week against Annapolis where Annapolis fans were chanting for him. They had their flags and smoke and they're out there chanting for Bill Hamid. He connects with everyone in the stadium. Ball boys asking for pictures, fans waiting for him at the fence to get pictures, and he's not like, I'm Bill Hamid, I'm just gonna go down the tunnel. He's there, involved with everything that's going on. That's part of the commitment piece that we're talking about. Whenever someone is gonna commit themselves to us and to me on a personal level, it's very easy to commit back to you and me manage him and him manage the locker room as a senior player in the team and a captain. It's been great to be able to work with a player of his level and his experience and his background. It's been very easy.
So where did this spark of the coaching career really begin?
I think I had a knack for it in high school, honestly. Middle of high school, I went over to Arlington and had a very good coach who was coaching us and coaching DC United. Now he's up at Minnesota United. The way that he structured the sessions and gave information to us and provided feedback to us and allowed myself and other players to bounce ideas off of him, whether it was why we're doing this drill or why we're setting up this way or why we're pressing this way or whatever the instruction was. He was always like an open book, essentially. I always found myself overanalyzing other teams, and it kind of sparked me that I knew I was going to be in the game of soccer for as long as I can. I think I have my personality able to connect well with other people, give back to the next generation, and give them a little bit better guidance than what we had growing up. There wasn't a lot of emphasis on college placement, the college process, recovery, individual training, how to get better, film. There was no VOs and all this stuff that are around now growing up. I always felt like, but as long as we can get a handful of kids on the right path and the right education, avoid the same mistakes or same laziness that we had and not being proactive in our youth career, I always felt like that was something that I wanted to do.
Can you make everyone happy or no?
No, impossible. Like, you go on our team staff, we have 50 players on our team staff. Only 18 can be rostered for a game. Now, obviously, we have a lot of guys who are working, they are injured, they're sick, some guys travel out of the country. So it's not like every game we're selecting from 50, every game we probably select from like 30. But like 12 guys are missing out. Even the guys who are in the 18, are they really happy to be on the bench? You can't make everyone happy. People would be surprised. Coaching men, they're still asking, why am I not rostered? What do I gotta do to be on the roster? They want to play. Everyone wants to play. We have the best center mid in the league, right? I don't care what you do. You're not taking him out of the field unless he's injured or he can't make the game. If he's showing up to practice, he's gonna play regardless. And we tell those guys, like, hey, you are third in your position. I'm not gonna beat around the bush.
Messi or Ronaldo?
By far Messi.
Oh, CJ.
By far. For me, it's not even close.
No. Even after he's robbed everything? Any favorite coaching memories?
Winning state cup with my red team last year. I played in many state cups growing up. I lost a few state cup finals. I missed PK and state cup final. It was pretty cool because it was always at the complex down in Fredericksburg. Now I'm coming back as a coach and playing on the same field.
Really?
And we won. Even though we lost regionals, but that's okay. The state cup was huge, honestly. And it was, I think, ASA's only third state cup in their history. And to be there with my dad on the sideline as another coach was probably the coolest coaching moment so far.
Any guidance for anyone trying to be a coach?
Humble yourself. A lot of my friends and a lot of players who are still playing now that are talking about being a coach, want to get into coaching, but they don't want to start at the bottom. When I got into coaching, I was coaching blue teams at Alexandria. MLS Next, red, white, blue. So I'm starting at the bottom. I'm coaching at junior academy, getting my my feet wet, getting my foot in the door. Just because you have certain playing experience in college, pro trials, played pro, really doesn't mean anything. You have to find your way in, and 9 times out of 10 that is going to be starting, on a quote-unquote lower level. It doesn't mean that those kids are not good players, don't have potential. But I think a lot of us, we all want to be MLS Next coaches. We all want to be ECNL coaches. We all want to coach the best players so we can tactically do these things and show what we know. I think you really need to change your perspective on when I get my foot in the door, how am I making that kid better as a person and as a player? If you're not improving a kid over the course of a 4 or 5 month season, then really you're not doing anything. You're just there on the sideline showing people that you watch soccer on TV and you know how to build out of the back. You need to be developing guys. Right? I think I talk a lot with certain coaches that I was coaching with in club is we're always looking around at coaches on red, white, and blue teams and how many guys at the end of their season are being moved up to the next team. You work with that kid or a group of 20 kids for a whole year on a white team and only one got moved up to the red team. You only made one kid this much better, right? That should be your goal is development, make the kid better as a soccer player and as a person. And when you're coming into the coaching world, be ready to build yourself up. You're not going to jump in at the top. You gotta be a little bit humble and sort of prove yourself as well. The same way that players prove themselves to us, you got to prove yourself to your employees, to the soccer community. I think everyone thinks if I get into the coaching world, I'm going to go to practice and run a good practice and go to the game. There's way more to coaching than the soccer aspect, right? When little Johnny doesn't play more than 15 minutes and you go to practice on Monday and you put together the best practice ever, and then you're going to your car and little Johnny's dad's like, can I talk to you? And you're in the parking lot until 10:45 at night with the lights off having a conversation about little Johnny and why he's not playing. How are you going to respond to that grown man who has way more life experience, can hold a conversation probably better than you as a young coach? Young guys who want to get into coaching, they think they're ready and then they're not ready. So it's probably better that you start, at a lower level team and where the playing time is more equal and you don't really have to worry about those conversations and you don't really have to worry about guys being upset that they didn't start a game, because at that level, everyone's playing, close to the same minutes. You're an NCSL, you can sub as much as you want, free-flowing subs. It's just an easier environment to get yourself comfortable in. So I would tell those coaches, be humble and, think about outside of soccer, practice and games, what else does that environment bring? And are you ready for that? If not, work your way into an environment that can help you improve that before you make the jump to a higher level environment that's way more stressful and way more demanding. And it's because I'm serious. There's a big difference between a parent driving from there to here 5 minutes and play than to drive from here to New York Red Bulls 5 hours and their kid played 10 minutes and now they have to drive 5 hours back. You know how pissed those parents are going to be? How are you going to deal with that? Well, he has to get over it. Okay, Mr. Get over it. When you see him out Witter parking lot till 11 o'clock, you're going to see that he's not over it. But those are just things that you got to sort of think about when you're getting into the coaching world. It's difficult, Humble yourself, change your perspective, development. No one cares about, your accolades as a coach. No one cares about my state cup trophy. That was cool. You won state cup. That's great.
Who moved up from red?
Exactly. What's happening here?
Yeah.
How many guys are getting college looks?
Yeah.
People are going to be, you think people are going to be, 26 years old talking about they want a state cup? No, they'd rather be playing in college, D1, D2, D3, JUCO. They'd rather have opportunities at the next level.
Yeah.
They'd rather become a better person, from your leadership. All the rest of it's all fun, it's all good. You're state cup champion, whatever. You're in high school, you're first team all this, first team all that, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it's like, as a coach, what did you do to impact that young man's life?
Are you subscribed?
I am subscribed. I subscribed after that high school 77 tournament at Longbridge.
Any final words?
You guys subscribe, okay? Subscribe to these guys. They're about to be popping off here over the next 6 months, so jump on the bandwagon now, because in 6 months from now, we're not going to care about you. Am I sweating?
At my house asking for like, oh, can we, like... That's Jorge. Talk again? Talk again? Yeah, that's going in the edit, bro.